Make a move, make it better.
Yeah.
Forget the rest.
How y'all feeling, baby?
You're rocking with the best radio station on the planet. SDM Live Unplugged.
Hey, what's up, y'all? We're back with the Fourth Letter Radio. We're right here in Detroit, baby Southfield. We love it. We love being on the radio. We love reaching out to y'all. We're going to be here every single week right here at sdmlive.com. My name is Rhythm Day Twa. We've been doing this for a minute. It's so important to get out there, get the word out, make sure that people know your position, your perspective, how you feel about things. We got Thumps, Thoughts, and Theory every single week right here on SDM Live Radio. And also the Fourth Letter. We have Nanette Lachey.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here with us
Thank
again.
you.
We loved you last week. We
you.
also have a guest, Jabril Haleen Shabazz.
Peace was good.
That's right. And then we got my girl, my business partner, Rita Morris is in the house. Clap, clap. Thank y'all for coming in. So what we do here at the Fourth Letter, we make sure that all of our Detroit artists are spotlighted each week. We do have a great Pierre Anthony spotlight for y'all. Y'all know who that is. Detroit's R&B king, hip-hop king, songwriter king. We're also going to have a good time at the end of our show with our songwriter spotlight. Happen to be a pretty good songwriter. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit. We're going to talk about the new Biden law that just came out, the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. What does that mean to your taxes, right? We're going to let Rita talk a little bit about that. Royalty Connections is in the house, business partner over there, click-clacking, cha-chinging, making sure people get their refunds and optimizing their deductions and their credits. This is interesting this week. We're talking about the spiritual world and how to navigate in the, what is it called? The carnal world, the physical world. I know a lot of times, Rita, it's like, 6 in the morning? And you just put up a really nice spiritual theme or post. She's going to talk a little bit. Do you do that in the morning? Yeah, you get up early? You have to. Why?
I mean, it's just all about how you wake up is what's spiritual, and when you wake up and however you start your
Pull your mic a little closer. How does that?
It's just all about how you start your day. That's all you started. Just being in the spirit is however you control. I mean, it's just however you start your day.
Absolutely. And that actually motivates me. How do you start your day?
Always thinking about what I have to do, putting it in order, making sure that my mind is ready and prepared to do everything, and then, try to woo-saw through the things that we don't have control over. Because there's always going to be things that we don't have control over.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to woo-saw through it, and like Dory said, just keep swimming.
Why y'all being so shy about the spiritual world? Y'all being shy.
Are we being shy? What you want?
Y'all over here like, so in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jabril, I have an idea of what goes on. For Muslims, you get up early with Fajr. Is that how you say it?
That's right, Fajr.
Fajr. Early. Waking up in the morning with your oblation, making sure your body is clean, making sure that you're... Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so ablution, we wake up 5:30, 5, it varies. Wash hands up to the forearms, wash water on the face, wash our feet, rinse our mouths out, our ears, our nose. And we do that before we pray or just take a shower. And then we pray to purify ourselves, to purify our connection with the Most High, to just be in a nice, serene state of mind. It strengthens the prayer. It boosts it.
Absolutely. You know what's really interesting is how Michelle Obama walked out. Did you see her in that nice little purple that nice purple that she had.
She was wearing that.
She was wearing it.
She
like,
was wearing it.
Head to toe. But then she also had her face covered. She had her hair covered. She had her whole body covered.
Really?
Sister was looking like a Muslima.
Really?
Okay, so they're turning us into a Muslima. But let me tell you, over in these other countries, they have plagues and they have to cover their body to be protected, and they have to cover their faces, and then they have to wash all of these, crevices. And so it's reducing us down to it. Like, they built that into the everyday practice of keeping your body clean.
Yeah.
It just works.
Yeah.
And I saw back in March, right, at the height of the COVID, people are washing just like a Muslim, but they're washing everything. They're trying to keep clean, right?
Yeah.
So that is interesting that, the tables turn a little bit sometimes.
But it took that to turn the tables.
I was just about to say that.
It took what?
I mean, it took for something major to happen for us to do the things that we should have been doing in the beginning.
Exactly. And also so that you can have a better understanding of what they go through, why they do the things that they do. Now we fully understand. Okay, yeah, you're covering your head. COVID can be passed through hair, and, you're covering your face and your mouth, and you're covering your whole body. And, hey, we was wearing black praying all day, all last year. Like I said.
Man, everybody was getting their prayers up.
Wasn't getting their prayers up?
Muslims pray 5 times a day, but people was praying all throughout the day. Hope my family member don't pass from COVID. Hope I don't get COVID,
Exactly. That's my point. Exactly. Yeah. So I want to thank Jabril for coming on the show. It's so important for us to have a male perspective, Muslim male perspective. Tell us a little bit about you, a little bit more about you, so we know exactly who's at the table.
Okay. Once again, my name is Jabril. Born in Detroit. Grew up in Pontiac a little bit. I'm back in Detroit now. It's actually where the Nation of Islam started. So you got Islam, which just means entire submission to the will of the Most High, the Creator. And so I strive to live by that. I'm not perfect, but I strive to live by that. So that's pretty much it. But I study the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I read the Holy Quran, which is pretty much what Muslims read. And surprisingly, it's what Masons read. Once they reach higher in degrees, they start to read the Holy Quran. So it is... it has all of the same people as the Christian Bible. It has all of the same people, and it has other people. It's just a different time period, but it also touches back during the time period of the Bible as well. It's not like a separate religion. And I also study other religions. I read the Bible. I practice Buddhism too. I'm very open-minded to spirituality, but I do strive to submit to the will of the Creator who created us, just like the animals have a certain law that they submit to. The dogs, the stars, the mountains, the trees, they all submit to the will of the Creator. And when they go outside of those bounds, that's when they start to, deteriorate or so. Once they get out of order with the harmony of the universe, it's not like God is punishing you for doing something bad. It's just that you are out of your alignment, you out of your element, so now you exposed to danger. But it's different today. Like I was thinking, it's got to be a way that we can do something to reduce roadkill, because like we killing these deers, killing these deers, and I'm thinking like, okay, every day we might see a deer, and these deers are coming into the community because their natural habitats are being destroyed. Right. So it's going to be more and more, but as far as the ecosystem and the habitat goes, that's going to affect us down the line. If we keep killing this roadkill and all these animals, the nature's balance it's going to be disrupted, and that's going to affect us. We don't see it now. But
I really appreciate Islam in that perspective, because it sounds like you're explaining how life is, and then they're looking at how life is and then saying, okay, this is how you need to operate in how life is. Some of these other religions are like, this is how life should be. and then be that way, regardless of the environment.
Right.
Regardless of the
what
fact
I
that
say.
we're in a war. We've been in a war. We have the highest male incarceration in the world, and we keep that number, right?
In America.
In America. We have the highest incarceration in the world. We're at war.
They ain't got
We've
no
been at
war
war.
for that.
And so, okay, how do you adapt to that? We've made it normal. I mean, I appreciate that, but then I also appreciate the teachings of Buddhism. I've been learning, you know, in my academia. You have to learn a little bit. You have friends, and you want to be open-minded. So they'll invite you. Like they have a really nice place for Hinduism downtown. So I've been there a couple times with some friends. I want to know. I'm not afraid of new information, you know. And I like how my friends and my associates, how they manage, you know, whatever religion they have. Like I said, Rita is a business partner of mine, and I get to work with her. But what I noticed in her habits, she will put that post early in the morning and start her day. So that's letting me know, you know, that's her spiritual, you know, embodiment to say. And it's just nice because, you know, you're not being pressured to, you know, be religious. You're not being pressured. I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between race, culture, and religion. A lot of times people think that race and culture is the same thing. And of course, race is what's called the phenotype. Phenotype is how you look. The genotype is your genes.
Yeah.
The phenotype is how you look. The genotype is your genes.
Okay.
Where you come from. If they, you know, took your blood, they tell you that they can tell you where you came from.
Right.
But then you have Africans, like in Senegal, we have a nice group of people called the Fulani people, and they look just like me. You know? So they've got so many different people in Africa. They're all represented. But one thing is different is the culture. And as we know, this culture here in America, it's literally getting written every day. It's getting written. They're making it up as they go along because we've lost the Africanness. And then when I'm bringing up like, hey, I was over in Africa for 10 years. That's not how they do it. I don't know where y'all got that from, but they just don't do it that way. Think about it. You know, go back to that. And I love the way people use whatever spiritual teachings that they've been taught. Because, hey, it's all about what you've been exposed to. You can't be, you know, can't be held against you if you've never been exposed to whatever is supposed to be the correct religion. The, you know, the religion that is the best, or the religion that is the religion. If you've never been exposed or taught that, then, you know, how can you be in the wrong? Right? So what we're going to do, that would be called a misunderstanding. A lot of times people meet people and they've already judged them just based on their religion. In my family, I was kind of dissed a little bit when I started wanting to learn more about Islam, Hindu, and Buddhism. Then the staunch Christians are like, you're going to hell. Y'all got people like that in your family? You got people like that in your family? You going to go to hell if you stop going to church?
A lot of things.
I was blessed because I wasn't really given a religion to like follow. I wasn't really structured like follow this, follow that. I was blessed to be able to, you know, adventure out in that aspect. So it helps, you know, because I was naturally spiritually grounded. But I guess somebody who's not naturally spiritually grounded, or, you know, who don't really have guidance, you know, that may not be beneficial. Sometimes it's beneficial for the family line to just carry on these practices. But that kind of ties into how you can get religion mixed up with culture because, you know, from the outside looking in, I believe probably most people think that most Black Americans are Christian and that they relate to the church.
Would you think that? They're mostly, but guess what? Detroit is the birthplace of American Muslims. And a lot of people don't know that. There's a nice group, a nice number who are practicing Muslims, and this is where Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam was actually born right in Detroit.
Right.
That's right.
So we have a long history with that.
Yeah.
So we don't want to have a misunderstanding. This week we are spotlighting Pierre Anthony, and we're going to take a quick break, listen to our hey, that guy, we just love him. He represents Detroit so well. In his talent, he can dibble and dabble in just about everything. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, while we're on break, we're going to listen to Pierre Anthony, Misunderstanding. This is the Fourth Letter Radio, SDMLive.com.
Make a move, make it matter. Yeah. Forget the rest.
How y'all feeling that?
You're rocking with the best radio station on the planet, SDM Live Unplugged.
Yeah, it's not how I planned it. It all went wrong that day. We just had a misunderstanding. Seemed like it all went wrong that day. Yeah, it's not how I planned it. The shit just went wrong that day. We just had a misunderstanding. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. I should've considered your feelings. I wasn't paying attention. Not to mention I was in my feelings myself. Man, I knew this should've be bad for my help. I swear this just not how I planned it. We just had a misunderstanding. But I'm loving the way we making up. And I still love the way we making love. I swear it's not how I planned it. I didn't want this to go that wrong. I swear it's not how I planned it. Seemed like shit just went wrong that day. It all went wrong that day. We just had a misunderstanding. Seemed like it all went wrong that day. Yeah. It's not how I planned it. The shit just went wrong that day. We just had a misunderstanding. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. I ain't never been perfect. I know you're hurting, baby, I'm working. Everything ain't what it seems. Please don't look at the surface. Nah, I planned it. It seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. I ain't never been perfect. I know you're hurting, baby, I'm working. Everything ain't what it seems. Please don't look at the surface. It's not how I planned it. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. It's not how I planned it. It all went wrong that day. We just had a misunderstanding. Seemed like it all went wrong that day. Yeah. It's not how I planned it. The shit just went wrong that day. We just had a misunderstanding. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah. Seemed like shit went wrong that day. Yeah.
Gotta talk on the radio. We having a really good conversation. This is the Fourth Letter Radio. My name is Day12. We're right here in Detroit. Also, baby Southfield. I got Jabril, Halim, Shabazz. I got Rita Morris, my business partner, the tax lady. She been over there chink. And we of course have Nanette Lachey, our vocal coach. And I don't know, she's just our singer songstress. of Detroit. You're actually from somewhere else, but you're a transplant, and we love you. That was Pierre Anthony, and we love his music.
That was dope.
Wasn't that dope?
Yeah.
It sounded good.
Yeah, it's fire.
Yeah. I'm doing some co-management with him, and I'm so excited to be working with Pierre Anthony because a lot of us have these deep talents, and we're sitting on them. We're sitting on these golden eggs. Nanette Lachey over there sitting on that golden egg. Rita over there sitting on that. Let me tell you about Rita and her 10 jobs.
I can see business all in her.
Can't you? Like, literally coming, knocking on my door. Okay, so this is what we about to do. We be ready. And then the reason why I reached out to Jabril is because on his Facebook page, he's always so inspirational. Never be BSing around for a young adult, for a young man that's out here doing this thing. And then he builds these fires, which I'm so, gravitate towards people who showcase their spirituality in addition to everything else. We talked about a balance. And that balance is all about what? The four parts that you are, right? The body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit.
Oh, no, so.
The spirit is the soul. The spirit is the soul. And if we happen to spend too much time on one part, you can feel imbalanced. That's where we're going with this conversation. And so Jabril is going to talk a little bit about the difference between the race and the culture when it comes to religion. People have a misconception, a misunderstanding about it. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
Okay. Misunderstandings based on phenotypes. What people look like, what things look like.
You picked that word up quick, didn't you? Phenotype.
I just learned it.
You learned it just now. Okay, good.
So, physical appearances, you go into a 7-Eleven, you see a brown person, you might automatically think that they're Muslim.
Right.
You in New York or downtown somewhere or in a nice neighborhood, Southfield or Gratiot or somewhere, and you see a white person with a top hat and a long beard, you might think that they Jewish.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so we automatically attribute religions and labels on people that just because of their race. And that's not, always necessarily a fact or true, and a lot of people, it's very complex and it's very different, like I said, because a lot of it plays my mind is like, how should I approach this? Because I don't want to be disrespectful.
I know, we're supposed to be really scared if we use the word Jew, aren't we?
Like, yeah, because
back in the day when I was doing my thing, you can't say Jew or Jewish, or you can't.
What did they say?
You're not supposed to say you can't say things that are derogatory towards Jews in a way, with black people saying, mentioning Jews. Yes, or just mentioning a character flaw or any type of generalization.
The problem about that.
Why does that happen?
The problem about that is because these are the same people that run Hollywood.
Okay.
That run the pornographic industry.
Now we're in trouble. This is what I'm talking about.
When I say Hollywood, the financial industry. In 1917, the IRS was started. The Anti-Defamation League was started, and the FBI was started.
Okay.
And the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is not an actual bank,
Okay.
It's not like a government bank. It says federal.
Right.
That's so misleading. You pay your state taxes, you pay your federal taxes.
Okay.
But the Federal Reserve is not connected to our government. The Federal Reserve is actually a private bank.
Okay.
It's just a large private bank that our money is printed on Federal Reserve notes.
Okay.
It's just a piece of paper. So the problem with that is there are righteous Jews. There are righteous, white, light-skinned people who practice Judaism, who read the Torah and, follow the laws and commandments that were given to them.
Okay.
But however, there's a group of people who run things,
perpetrating the fraud,
who are perpetrating the fraud, who run things, and they do it under the guise and the umbrella of being a Jew to get the protections.
Wow.
So it's like having a business. It's like really being a mob boss. And instead of your protection being weapons, even though their protection is weapons, we give billions to Israel in the form of reparations from World War II. Every year, our American tax dollars go to Israel in billions. But, when it comes to reparations, Biden, I guess he passed a law to do a study on reparations, not necessarily.
I have heard about that.
To hand out reparations.
They've been talking a lot about reparations lately. Yeah, I think we need our reparations, Rita, because we have a couple of projects this year that we need to do. So you don't have to be a white person to be Jewish. Is that right?
You don't. I mean, truthfully,
I
technically,
grew up believing that
logically, no.
Okay.
No, you could be Chinese, you could be black,
and be Jewish.
Okay. You could be a Pakistani. You could be Arabic. There are Arabic Christians. There are Arabic Christians.
Absolutely,
Pakistani
there are
Christians.
Arabic Christians.
There are black Jews.
Okay.
There has to be, right? This planet is so big.
There are black Jews, but you have this misunderstanding, this misconception as you're growing up that it's a race. That Jewish is a race. Yeah. And it's a religion. Right?
Yeah. But it's not a race.
It's not a race. Definitely but I grew up, did you grow up believing?
Believing what?
That Jewish was a race. No. You knew it was a religion.
Logic is logic. Stupidity is a choice.
So anti-Semitic.
She just
you said logic is logic, stupidity is a choice.
Yeah, either you're gonna know or you don't know. Either you're educated or you don't want to educate yourself.
But growing up, the information that they're giving us in school and the images on television.
And how did
you
we
see black Jews a lot? Like, do you really see black Jews? That's the problem. Do you see Jews who do not look white?
But that touches to the point that she made off camera. It's not what you profess, it's what you practice. And nobody's gonna know really what you practice. What you do behind closed doors by yourself when no other eyes are on you. Right. Nobody really knows what you do, but you can, put on a costume and carry yourself a certain way in front of people, and you'll get the benefits or you'll get the detriments that come with whatever you are appearing as. But see, the problem is when you black, there's this culture associated with you of inferiority or insufficiency. Yeah.
Incompetence.
Right?
You're supposed to talk like this, look like this, act like this.
Because you have melanin, right? They have that low expectation sometimes, even in school. They have low expectations of the students not doing well. They have low expectations of you. And I don't know, you'll appear as though you're a superhero because you got them 100%, and then they want to double check
on some BS. My high school. I be thinking back now. It's been so many days where we just sat and talked for the whole class. Yeah, it's been so many days where we just cracked jokes for the whole hour. You a kid getting roasted or roasting somebody else, and then a bell rings. You don't even realize, I didn't get any work. No. And the teachers that gave us work, we liked them the least. Yeah.
That might have been me, because I'll be in there, but see, I wasn't there rapping with the students.
And now we want the teachers for me, I want the teachers to actually teach my children and do your job. And now they're like, we tried to do that 20 years ago, girl. Good night.
It didn't help.
Have a seat.
What's going on? You are with your homeschooling. How is that coming? She's got that homeschooling with the... Up to the mic, yeah.
I think it's a lot. It's hard work. These kids really don't want to be at home. They want to be in school.
They want to be in school.
And it's like, it's hard.
It's just hard. And when you're dealing with that, that's why I thought that was so inspirational, because people just go through things. That they have the world on their shoulders. And what gives you the hope or How do you tap in when you're just feeling overwhelmed? How do you tap in? It's so easy to give up. It's so easy to be a crybaby. How do you tap into your spirituality
It's
when you
easy to
have
keep going,
all of
too.
this? You
It's
said
easy
what?
to keep going too. You just gotta keep at it.
You just got to keep at it
And
and
cry.
don't give up
Wow.
and cry.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let
I
it
do
go.
that. I
Do
cry
men cry?
and move on.
Do
I
men
will.
cry, Mr. Jabril?
yeah.
Cry for
They
about
do.
5 minutes and then okay.
Right.
Get
Next.
back
Get
to
it together.
Right.
But that's a good question. I got a 14, he just turned 14-year-old little brother. And you know, I watch him and I observe him from a distance. I don't spend much time with him as I should. But I observe him from a distance and I see just the emotional. A lot of times it seems like it's just not a void,
Yeah.
or just I don't know. It's just this overall, just I'm here. It's like a slight agitation. They don't know how to express themselves. They're being forced into a system. They're being forced and they're being told, do this, do that.
Yeah.
This is what you're supposed to do. But it doesn't really do anything for the development of them as human beings, as the youth. And this is going to be a generation of people who skipped out. We don't know how many years this is going to go.
Wow.
But
That's gonna be horrible.
Who skipped out on classes, you know, generation of people who didn't
Wow.
do the graduate.
Cycle of bullshit.
Yeah, this is going to be a
It's
real
about to be
big
bad.
impact.
It is going to be a big impact. The lack of socialization, we were already isolated.
Yeah. it just
Already.
keeps going.
It was already bad. And
Down
so
there we
is
go.
it our responsibility to explain that? Because what I found in my own experience and with my children, that disappointment, being disappointed by, you know, different either religious people or religious institutions or just, you know, a clergy person, being overexposed, being too woke, already knowing how something is structured, you know, I already know how that works. And it's just so hard for you to sometimes go to church. You know everybody there. You already know everything. You know, they're not practicing what they preach.
Even if they are, it's like, heard you all before.
Right.
Good night.
We've been here too long. You have all these different institutions or people, and then they disappoint you. And it's difficult because you want, like you said, no one pressured you or even directed you to Islam. That was something you did on your own.
Right.
And it's really difficult for, I think, these young people to be overexposed. That might have been pre-internet. Was that pre-internet? Did that happen for you? Did you have exposure to the internet?
Pre-social media.
Pre-social media, yeah.
Pre-social
Pre-social
media. It's
media.
on AIM, chat, I am chatting, you know.
Right.
But,
Right.
yeah.
We had our little beep.
But you know, that made me think of a Bible verse. What is it? Lack of knowledge, people will perish.
Yeah.
And I reflect and I think that it's the lack of vision, you know, people will perish with the lack of vision.
Yes.
They don't see within themselves, or they don't see where they would like themselves to be. They're not striving towards something. They're, you know, a personal goal or a personal destiny or a personal gift, skill, and talent that the Creator has put in all of us. He's put something in us that we do better than everybody else. And a lot of people don't fight to find what that is.
Right.
And a lot of people, some people find it, and because it comes so easy, they don't have a goal of what they want to do with it. You know.
Absolutely. Now, how do you balance it with your children?
Oh,
Are you sharing religion, a religious practice with them? Not to put you on the spot, because you said you didn't want to talk about it, but
yeah, no.
can you just share any type of activity or something that helps them balance? We're talking about your heart,
Yeah.
your spirit, your mind, and your body.
Yeah. So meditation and jam sessions is what my family does. So I have a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 21-year-old. So what we all do is we are all very musically inclined. All of them beatboxing like crazy. So why not, you know, take that to the next level? So we get in the studio, we shred, we unleash. Nothing is off limits. Say what you feel, release, and then we meditate, and we actually put essential oils in the air to help our minds open up, our senses open up, you know, all of the things that need to open up for us to actually zone into the situation because there's so many distractions in life. I know for one, I'm filled, like my life is filled with distractions. So
Right.
I have to shut down and cut off and zone out and breathe in and exhale 7 times.
Hey.
Slowly, okay?
And that's excellent that
Period.
you built that in, because to me, that isn't religion. That's the spiritual world. That's
Absolutely.
you
That's what we
exposing
need.
your
That's what everybody
family to spiritual practices to help them balance. And it isn't something that you're gonna do in church. You may not be
Right.
sitting in church, with your legs crossed,
Right.
meditating,
Nope.
breathing. I know, like Rita, you have your times where you in her office. She's got the candle, she got the music,
In the dark.
she turned the light, she's in
Yes.
the dark,
Yes.
and I'll be creeping in
Turn the
like,
lights
who is
off.
in here right now?
Turn the lights off, zone out, breathe in and
She's
out.
on out. She
Yes.
zones out, and then can handle.
It's too
so,
much. It's too
how
much
does that
for-
do? Do you pass that on to your children? Because to me, that's not religion. It's like it's a spiritual practice because it's a
Mind, heart.
healing. It's a calming. Where do
Body.
are you sharing that with your kids? Do you do something like that at home?
It's hard to get them to do that, but I do like on Sundays. 'Cause I try not to work on Sundays, so it's all about just the time with each other. So I have
Yes.
to take electronics, phones, computers. We put all that to the side, and we just do like play games or do something with each other.
That's good. And I noticed that they're very tight
Yeah.
knit, and I
I
love
have
that.
great kids. I really love it.
She says that all the time, though. I think that
do.
is so
You got
good.
big kids.
Yes, I got babies too. I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old.
And they're very tight
That's my
knit,
teenagers.
very well mannered. But you can tell that they have a calming about them.
She has a calming, so it has to be good.
Okay.
She had to pass it down.
She's passing it down. But some of those things we take for granted. We're taking for granted our practices in blending those 4 parts to us. And what I learned, even after a car accident, I was able to separate my body from the pain. I thought that was remarkable. I was like, well, I'm a superhero.
How you do that?
I don't know how I did it. I just remember
You chose to do
I
it.
chose to do it. I was able to separate myself from that pain, and I allowed my mind to be stronger than my body.
Period.
And what I learned in that experience was that when I blocked out the pain, I was able to move around because there wasn't any pain. And I was like, you're just like tripping over this pain.
Taking me to that movie Kill Bill.
Yeah, you're
all in
tripping
your
over this
mind.
pain. It's all in your mind. And I started moving around. So when I finally had spinal surgery, the doctor was like, this is really amazing how you're moving around like this, because this is jacked up.
It's not
You are
supposed to
hard.
happen
No,
like that.
you are not supposed to be able to take
They
this
always
much
say
pain. I was like, I'm a superhero. Let's go.
Right.
Get this done so I can stop thinking about this this dullness. And even a family member of mine had a child who had surgery. And what I kept telling the mom is to do a lot of skin-to-skin contact with the baby, because the child is new. And so I don't know if anyone has ever felt excruciating pain. Anyone? You have?
Oh.
Okay. Have you ever in those moments said, I'm giving up?
Oh yeah.
Like you want to give up. And if you don't have a memory of love, if you don't have a memory to stay with it,
A happy place.
a happy place, like you
Something.
make memory. And
It's
just
right.
like yesterday, 5 minutes ago, it no longer exists.
Period.
It's gone. Like 5 minutes ago, yesterday, last week, last year. They're memories in our head. And so they no longer exist. But you have to create good memories so that you can hold on, because sometimes pain is just so great. And you're like, you know what, I'm out. Checked out. This is all I can take. And I had some good memories because I had to tap into that so I can get on the other side. And that was part of that spiritual awakening.
Accepting. Yeah. I've had periods where I felt pain.
Yeah.
Not excruciating.
Yeah.
But like if I stub my toe or do something, bite my tongue or something,
Right.
I accept it. I tell my brain, all right, pain is a response that something is wrong.
That's that logic. That's
I'm
the okay.
registering.
Thank you. So basically, this is. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just did. I'm sorry, but
Totally
basically, what he's saying is his brain. Remember, we said the mental started talking to the body, which is two different things, and started coaching. Like, this is what we gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay, so finish up your story.
I accepted it. I just mentally, spiritually accepted the pain,
Right.
and registered. Okay, I'm in pain. Okay, that's what's wrong with me. I know that. I
Right.
acknowledge it, and then like the sensation of pain slows down. The frequency starts to draw back a little bit.
Yes.
And I'm able to just get through it.
And manage it.
Have you ever seen Kill Bill where she says, wiggle your big toe? And she was completely paralyzed, but she spoke to her feet. That's how I teach my children with
And
everything.
did her toe wiggle?
And that, absolutely.
Her toe was wiggling.
Oh, yeah, girl. Everything is mental.
It is.
Everything is mental.
Everything is
mental. So I don't think about anything like, oh, it's a big deal. Nope.
No.
I'm just going to channel it.
Because your mind is just that powerful.
Period.
It's amazing. It is really amazing. Back to your point. Up to the mic.
So the mind controls everything.
Yes, the mind controls everything. And so you can talk yourself into things. You can talk yourself out of things. And
all the time.
when you spearhead that, when you really have, they say we only use about 10% of our brain. And some days, I'm telling you, when you're doing your paper and I'm doing my paper, I'm doing 20%. I'm digging deep down, trying to reinvent new ways of saying old things. That's how you do when you're in the doctorate program. But they give you all these different thoughts of what someone said before, and then you have to restructure it and say the same thing in your own words. And that's where I feel like, again, my spirituality, because and I know it's going to sound crazy, Thumps, thoughts and theory, the conspiracy theorist.
I love it. I love conspiracy.
Okay, good. That's what we talking about. Conspiracy theorist theory. This is it. I do talk to the ancestors. I open up because I'm like, I need more than what I know right now. You have got to give me a whole, and I know we're supposed to be working on your paper too, but that's what we have to do because it'll end up just looking like words. But I am reaching down in the DNA, like help me to have a new perspective, open up. And you probably may have felt that way. You ever have something that comes over you when you're on the mic and you're singing? Every time. It feels as though something has taken over your body.
Yeah, every time.
Tell us a little bit about that, because that's what I mean about being in the spirit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that happen when you're sometimes performing?
Yeah. If anybody's ever seen, and I'm gonna go ahead and put out the greats, James Brown, people like Bobby, Michael, people that actually like go into another realm. You'll see them backstage and they're one way, and as soon as they hit the stage, there's something else. That's just a natural thing for artists that really create. So there's artists out there that create, but when you really create, you don't have control.
You don't have control.
You don't have control. Actually, the control leaves as soon as you step on stage and the mic's in front. You're like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Here we go. You're going to get whatever comes out.
And you don't have control. And it's letting that spiritual part of you take over.
Like to hear it, here you go.
Yes. It's part of our practice.
Most people are not that connected. Like, is that the same with dancing?
It's the same with dancing.
Absolutely.
It's the same with speaking. Even like speaking.
What gets in the way? What gets in the way of people connecting or just submitting to that? Like what?
I can tell you. This is my theory. Okay, and this is not knocking. People that don't have rhythm. That group. There's like a particular group of people that tend to not have a whole lot of rhythm, as they say. But I think we're overthinking. Like, we're thinking about the expectation. Have you ever, and it can happen like right now while we're on the show. You're thinking about how people are perceiving you. and it's going over and over and over in your mind, and that's what you're thinking. You're overthinking, and so you have this look or this stereotype or this generalization. You know, you have this thing that you have to live up to. And so you ever see them and they're on the floor, or just people that just won't let go, right? And what they're doing is they're like, you know, I can't get with it. This is not me. It is just overthinking and overthinking and overthinking about how you're being perceived while people are watching you.
Isn't that the worst?
And you're not. It's the worst.
I hate
Don't
that.
do
I hate
it.
that people are like
Don't
that.
do it.
Let me be perceived properly. Let me be received properly. Let me come off properly. How about you just?
You know what gives people that?
What?
Authoritarianism. That gives people that.
That's true.
That gives people that. Because growing up, my dad, he's great dad. I'm not going to say perfect. Great dad, though. Did the best that he can. But very masculine. Very authoritative.
Was he alpha?
You know. Don't matter where he at, he'll cause a scene if something's not going his way. It's his way, you know. And so like growing up, he was like, you know, speak. He was like, think. He'd ask me something like, think. And so I developed a mindset of producing the best answer, not necessarily my answer,
Right.
but the best answer.
Okay.
And so I was able to think analytically fast,
Right.
but through this past decade, I started to learn self-expression and to tap into myself and stuff like that. And I thought about my dad recently too. And I thought, wow, you know, as masculine as he is, being a man, that is really challenged. Just
Right.
being a man. We're not, as Americans, we're not so used to that manly man figure. Like it's kind of fading out.
Yeah,
And
it's fading out. It's like this is back in the day.
Yeah.
Me and him.
Yeah.
We talked about that briefly. Remember when I told you that this is a country that is run by the woman's ego? You know, it's a matriarchal style country, and what I was sharing with him is that mothers, women tend to step in front of men, right? And you were in the car when we were talking about it. They tend to step in front of men because we've been pushed to be the leaders. You know, 85% of the homes in Detroit are led by Black women. 85% head of household. And so we always, you know, we can do that maze. We can think, okay, that's about to happen. And then we like, okay, baby, we got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we do to our young men and to our men. But what we were talking about is they miss out on the experience of leadership when we do that. Because there's an experience of leadership that they have to go through so that they can see if they can even lead. And so when we're jumping up and like, okay, baby, I got it. Come on. We're going to do this real quick. Let me get this done. This is how
Let me help you. I got it. Let me show you how.
Yeah, we about to get this done real quick, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to get done properly, and it's going to get done timely, and it's going to get done accurately. However, the leadership skills that we were supposed to allow a young man or a male in our presence to develop, we skip that part.
That's crazy.
Like they don't get an opportunity to fail so that you can sit there and watch them correct themselves. Because we're stepping in like, come on, baby, we got it. Come on.
So
I need you to sit right on here.
I just talked to a nail lady. I just talked to a lady in the nail salon who told me, I see you guys do everything for your men. You see my husband, he was running around sweeping, doing everything. He does everything. I just do this. I said, so what you're saying is he does everything and you do nothing? She was like, yeah. She's like, if you do everything, then what is he going to know how to do? I said, well, let me think about it. I had to count on my toes, like maybe he. No, nothing. If we continue to be like, oh, you need somebody to write out your resume. I got you.
Let me do
You need somebody to set your doctor's appointment up.
Right. I got you. Right.
You need somebody to.
Yeah.
Ooh, we need to. I just want to tap
But it's
in.
just the leadership. It's like at least allow them the opportunity to figure it out. We don't have to keep jumping in front of them and say, I got you.
The order.
I got you means I'm back here, you know, in case you need me. I'm right there beside you in case you need me, but I don't have to speak up every time. You know, you don't have to always say this is the plan. Because my thing is, it is propagating white supremacy.
Exactly.
You'll know
That's exactly
some,
what it
is that what it is?
That's exactly
because
what it
you'll
is.
have some
exactly
white people who do not want to participate unless they're in control. Unless they're in charge. They're like, oh, baby, I'm not even participating. Because if I can't lead you, I'm not going to be a follower. And so therefore, we don't get to develop, right, in those groups, in any type of diversified group. Because they're not going to allow you to lead. And you're doing the same thing to the men in your presence. Being like I said, my long conversation on being a slave owner.
I think black women do it.
Yeah.
Or I think women do it.
Why do women do it? Why do they do that to men?
Because I'm black, I only speak on black women experiences, but I think that they do it because it's power. It's authoritarianism. It's power. When we respect power, women respect power. Yeah, that's what the power source. That's what the power structure is doing. That's how they participate and act. Because in opposite scenarios and situations, in the same type of households, you get that young man that grew up with the mother leading, and he rebels. You get these men who rebel from that. They do. And they become abusive. And the women usually seen that follows that type of male, they submit to his abuse as it's correct, but it's only his show of power. That's really what they're submitting to. It's just his show of power. So yeah, it really takes some accountability. It takes some self-assessment. You know, it takes some selflessness to see yourself, to see your actions, to see the actions of your mate, and then to see what your actions are going to produce in the next generation moving forward. And this is for any partner, though. I mean, I have a lot of different, partnerships because I can't do things by myself, and I'm not going to do it. Right. I'm not doing anything. I'm just not about to stretch myself thin. I just don't do things like that. Plus, but what I've learned is if you are working with someone and they have a different pathway or a different idea, you have to be strong enough and mature enough to say, you know what, let's do it your way, and I'm going to fully support you. Even if you think that it's not going anywhere, because it's not about who's right. Sometimes there's development in that. Talk about it. And so be fully supportive of people in your village and say, you know what, I do nonprofit management support, and training and things like that. And so I teach the board members, if the person who held the vision comes to me in the board training and says, we're going to do a fundraiser and it's going to be a car wash. So now when you bring me to the table, I need to help you guys put that together. But then you got Pookie and Ray Ray, right, at the board meeting. And after we do about 30 minutes of training, what happens? They step up and they're like, well, I think we should do a roller skating party in the middle of us planning the car wash fundraiser. And so that's not being fully supportive, and I call it out. That's not being supportive of the person who's held the vision. We don't have a lot of time, and my time is valuable and expensive. So I need you to stop doing that, and we're going to follow the vision of the visionary, and I need you to be fully supportive. You're throwing a wrench in this meeting, and I call it out right in the board meeting. You need to support the people with the vision. It doesn't matter who that is. And guess what? We can go create another program for you over here, and we're going to come to your meetings and support you. But right now in this board meeting, while y'all are paying me all this money, we're going to focus on the vision of this visionary. We're going to fully support them. We're going to take a look at that work plan, develop it, make it even better. You need to be doing your plus and minus on that vision and not your own, and be supportive
wherever somebody is trying to go. And if you think that you can do it better, let's do it better. I'm gonna come to your meeting next. Competition is good.
He was right though. I think I would like to go back to when he said that the position of power that we take in our minds because of how they feel like, okay, we are the powerful ones, we get paid more, blah 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 blah
right.
blah blah, but we're the power.
Yeah.
When we do everything in the home,
yes,
it's like the power.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You want that power,
us
that
the
ego.
secretary, the doctor, the counselor,
right?
The nurse,
ego. It's the ego.
Hair doctor, honey, everything, honey. You
right.
come into us for everything, okay? Okay. So it's like we feel
made
so
Rita laugh.
powerful.
You made Rita laugh, so you.
We feel so powerful at the end of the day. We're like, man, what can I not do?
Right.
I mean, what do I need you for?
Right.
Ooh,
right.
Shit.
And that's wrong. Because
ain't it
you
wrong?
do not need men to be
you
a
for?
purse.
Right.
You don't need men to be your purse.
And
They're
then
not your
you
accessory. Their presence is
Talk
really
about it.
important.
Talk
What
about
are you
it.
saying, Jabril?
Yeah, I was saying, that makes it easy to devalue somebody or to not value them as much or to not respect them
Right.
as much, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we have a lot of power, what is that? Power struggles
Yes.
within our community, right? Even in the country. Because I have to remind people that when this country, when they had an opportunity to choose between a black man and their antagonist, the white woman, who was Hillary Clinton, they chose the black male. And that let me know that this country could possibly be more sexist than they are racist. Or it just becomes convenient to be either one or the other.
Imagine how the world would be if it was ran by a woman.
Okay.
Man.
Everything would be done right.
Everything would be done right.
But then we would be miserable because then we would all have to work with each other.
Right, but think about the foreign countries where it is a woman in power and the crime is low and things are working out and everybody gets along kumbayas at the end of the day, honey. Let's talk about those countries where the women are actually in power and the crime, everything, domestic, everything is low. The rates for everybody who's against each other is so low in those specific stuff. Read on and
Are those indigenous? Are those indigenous women or are those like Caucasian women?
You know, when it comes to race and people who lead, to me, I don't see like, okay, you're a woman.
Right.
Period. Like I don't really know races like when it comes to a leader. Like
Yeah.
I just see a leader. You know what I mean? But when it comes to like somebody who's in a class with me, I would know she was indigenous, Indian.
Come up to the mic.
American. You know, if I would know the different religions.
Yeah.
Like if she was like sitting next to me, but as far as like a leader who is like a queen or, you know, somebody in different cultures who is actually the head, I don't even look at as, oh, you're the boss, okay? Period of where you come from, you're the boss. And somehow you seem to be making things work better in your realm of the world than we could ever, as far as crime is concerned. Read up on it.
I ask that because in most indigenous countries, we come from places where the sun shines. And so we come from places of abundance. Mm-hmm. We usually have resources and materials that we need where we don't have to be greedy. Mm-hmm. And a lot of Caucasian people, they usually come from colder places. Mm-hmm. So they have more of a barbaric mindset. You know, that's why I asked, you know, because it would be easier because I think, you know, up until like 6,000 years ago, I don't know how we were living as humans, but the environment didn't seem to be in a state that it is now.
Absolutely not.
Under the current rulership. And I believe, you know, I'm familiar with women leading throughout history, you know, and everybody worked together. That community mindset, it seems that Black Americans, we have one-on-one. Everybody's is one against everybody. We got this mindset instead of, you know, it's us for the family, you know.
Detroit versus everybody.
Detroit versus everybody, you know. And, it's, you know, we really one family.
Black lives
So listen.
matter when all lives matter. I don't understand that stuff.
Right. So listen, guys, we are going to close out our show. You know what? Last week they said we needed an extra hour to talk about this.
We do.
And we'll have to come back next week and talk a little bit about more about our spirituality, our practices, right? We talked about meditation. We talked about prayer. We also talked about having like just spiritual, what is it called? Themes or posts or remembrances of our spiritual awakenings, connecting our mind, body, spirit, and our heart, right? This is the Fourth Letter Radio. My name is Rhythma Day Twa. Thank you for connecting with us this week. We love y'all. Detroit. This is SDMLive.com, Rhythma Day Twa with the Fourth Letter Radio. See y'all next week.
Make a move, make it better. Yeah. Forget the rest.
Are y'all feeling better?
You're rocking with the best radio station on the planet. SDM Live Unplugged.